Hello, Actives family. We're super excited to have you joining us this evening on our Founders broadcast for the month of June. We're joining you the second weekend of June due to some fantastic events that we had here in the United States and in Mexico over the last couple of weeks. I'm joined here by the CEO of Actives, David Brown, the President of Actives, Ryan Thompson. They're going to cover a lot of information about what we shared at those events, the excitement coming out of those events, and what you can do to capitalize on that. So with that said, I'm going to turn this call over to our Chief Executive Officer, Mr. David Brown.
Thanks, John. Hi, Ryan. It's good to see you, my friend. Hello, everyone out there in the Actives family. It has been quite a whirlwind 6 weeks since the last time that we had this type of call. There's been a lot of things happening. I feel sorry for you, that those of you who are not able to actually watch this and are only listening to this, because you would see three really good-looking heads. I look at us in these pictures. I think there's not a lot of hair amongst these three, but there's some good-looking heads. So anyway, we'll see if there's anything noteworthy that comes out of these heads. And I think there have been some really great things. So in the 6 weeks that since we last spoken, Ryan, we've been all over the globe. We've done events in Japan, we've done events in the US, we've done them in Mexico. I've got my own thoughts on those things, but I'd love for you as our president to let people know what things caught your attention, what you thought were noteworthy, and what were some of your favorite things that transpired out of these events.
Well, great, David. Thank you, and good evening to everybody watching this video. Like John said, we actually do this once a month. It's a Founders broadcast, and David and I and when available, Daniel Ethington like to share kind of recap the previous month and talk about what we're excited about and what's coming down the pipeline. So, David, to answer your question, I'll share a couple of my favorite moments and observations of these events. First of all, 2 Saturdays ago, was our launch event here in the United States, and that was really an incredible event for me. It was fun to be with such an exciting group of pioneering founders here in the U.S., and these are really, the very first leaders that we have stepping up in the U.S. that are creating a path, and the rest are going to be following in their footsteps. And it was fun to be with them. We had a small group of folks from Japan. We had folks that traveled up from Mexico to be with us. And we had a really diverse group of people, English speakers as well as Spanish speakers here in the U.S. My favorite presentation, I'll tell you, it was Dr. Joe Maroon. I love that presentation. For those of you who don't know who he is, check him out on actives.com. He's a member of our advisory board, and he's a world famous neuroscientist. Neurosurgeon, and I loved his presentation about balance. And it's not often that you hear a medical doctor, an allopath, a neurosurgeon, talk about the importance between the physical, the spiritual, family, and social, as well as work balance. And I think it was a very important presentation to be shared at this launch event. I'm reminded, David, of the quote that says, if you hang out with ducks, you learn how to quack, right? If you run or hang out with eagles, you fly. And we really had a bunch of eagles with us. And from the outside looking in, and I would make the same observation about the people that we were with just 2 days ago in Mexico City, about 1,000 people, which was outstanding. I found myself taking a step backwards and saying, why are they so excited? Why are people so excited that are getting involved with Actives? And why are we so excited for that matter? And it really causes me to become a little bit introspective and say, these people are so excited because, like us, they're finding meaning and they're pursuing their purpose. It is really a righteous endeavor to pursue meaning, not just pursue happiness, but to pursue purpose and meaning, the byproduct of which is happiness. And that's what I saw in these people. There's a lot of excited, really happy people, because while we are just launching both markets right now, we are having people really reach some tremendous success. And, speaking about meaning and purpose, a lot of our people are with us because of the health benefits. And these are really incredible health benefits that people are experiencing with our cutting edge technologies that we're bringing to the marketplace. And I think it's important for everyone who's watching this to remember, especially in the US, we just launched 2 Saturdays ago, the 1st of June. That was our launch event. And I checked in on one of the WhatsApp groups that I have. And this group is dedicated only to people that they're just posting product experiences, user experiences with our products. Sometimes we call them testimonials. And I just counted how many videos I had sent in last week, and I had 27 sent in last week. And I thought that was pretty cool. These are 27 people who are feeling the effects of our products, right? And these are people from the US as well as from Mexico. But there's some real meaning here. And some of them, and I don't want to talk about disease or illnesses on this call, but they're people who are overcoming some real serious issues in terms of their wellness and their health. And it's very gratifying for me to see that. I also, David, want to point out that it was really neat to check out a report that we get regularly. And I just wanted to see how many people received a check from actives, people that are promoters and are entrepreneurs that are out sharing the benefits of our products with the marketplace. And we issued 2,200 checks and change a Friday ago, so last week. And I've got to ask myself the question, is there meaning in that? Is there purposefulness in that? And I would say that there most certainly is, because one of the most disheartening things is to ignore our financial health and to rely on others to take care of us, the government or other people. So I believe very much in taking personal responsibility and not rely and self-reliance. And that's one of our products. And so the fact that we issued 2,200 checks last week, I think it speaks volumes for the change that we're making on other people's lives. And again, going back to why people are so excited, that's why they're so excited. And it gives me goosebumps to think about that. So there are some of my observations, David, from what I experienced 2 days ago in Mexico City, as well as a week ago in the US. We're in the right place at the right time. And in today's world, we're making a positive impact, whether it's contributing to the gig economy or helping people create a retirement plan for themselves and take real financial responsibility for their and their family's financial future, as well as really take control of their health and their wellness. So before I go on, I'm gonna pause and ask you, David, what were your favorite parts of the event over the last couple of weeks?
Well, like you, there's so much to talk about. It's hard to contain it all in just a couple of sentences or a few minutes. It's virtually impossible. There's so much going on. I can tell you that the week before the event in the US, we were in Japan doing a pre-launch event. Now, we've been in there for a few months. We're just getting going, but it was exciting to be part of meetings in Tokyo and in Sendai and other parts of Japan. In fact, those meetings went so well that just over a week later, 10 people from Japan on their own nickel decided that we want to come and see what's going on in the US. We want to be part of this US launch. That's a pretty big commitment. That's not a small cash outlay to come. And I can tell you that it surpassed their expectations, because they had no idea that, they were impressed with the products, but up to that point, much like those of you that are listening on this call, some of the people that you talk to, they only know you and they only know a couple of people. They don't know much about the company. So they came and really kicked the tires a lot more. And for them to see Dr. Joe Maroon and Dr. Brett Earl and Dr. Rish Patel as they're talking about the launch of Optimend, but they've all been calling it Product X like they had here in the US. We officially revealed the name as Optimend. And it was one thing for them to know of their own personal experiences, which were real in terms of what type of effect it was having upon them for pain and inflammation, but for them to hear about it from doctors. And in fact, a few days prior to the event, the US event, I was talking with Dr. Maroon and his colleague Jeff Bose about their experiences in introducing Optimend into their clinic. And Jeff Bose had not even had a chance to download Dr. Maroon yet, and he's saying, "Man, it's amazing. We're having people that are saying its effect upon their migraines, that their tinnitus is going away, that all these types of things are happening." And as I said at the event, we have an embarrassment of riches when it comes to members of our advisory board by virtue of really three things. I think that number one, they believe in us as a team, that we're trying to do the right things for the right reasons, and that we've had some success, so they feel some measure of confidence in associating with us. Number two, they really believe that the world needs products like this. And that the way to do it are the methods that we're employing. And then number three, kind of maybe 2B, is the power and the strength of the products and the science. Several of them said to me, "Hey, David, you're a great guy. I love your team. But if it wasn't for the strength of these products, we wouldn't be here." But people need these products in their lives, and so that's pretty important, pretty powerful. The other impressions I had in coming away from those events were in the U.S. event particularly, we had about almost exactly the same number of pioneers that were present at other companies that we've started. And so sometimes people look around and say, "Man, is this enough?" And I'm like, yeah, it's more than enough. We've started with fewer than this and created great, spectacular things. And so it was wonderful to see those seeds being planted, to see these stories of people in the very early days, not only having these tremendous health benefits for the products, but also seeing the financial benefits and sharing that with others. As we had people traveling from Buffalo, from Florida, from Ohio, from Texas, from Puerto Rico, California, like you said, Mexico, Japan, all over the length and breadth of the country. And that is just going to spread like wildfire. And I know people are very excited, and they got their batteries recharged also, in terms of really going forward and really what they're part of. And so that was exciting. And then, of course, to be just this past weekend in Mexico and seeing, number one, the sacrifices that people make. People make sacrifices everywhere to be part of something that they think is really going to pay off for their families. But when you talk about people getting on a bus and riding for 14 hours, staying there in an event for 8 hours, and then getting back on the bus for another 14-hour bus ride home, and being excited the whole time about it, that is real commitment, and it is so great to see. And when I see them coming from the length and breadth of Mexico, and talking about the changes and the benefits for them and their family, I think again it's threefold in that case: the health benefits, the financial benefits, but the emotional and social aspects of being part of a group that they've come to love and appreciate, and they're gaining power and a great feeling from those groups, just as they're contributing their own power, their own talents and abilities to make that group stronger. So those are some wonderful things. And you're the closest to the Spanish market, and you're down in Mexico all the time, and the people love you and you love them. And I think maybe you'd like to hear a little bit more from you, Ryan, in terms of that market and what just happened this past weekend. It'd be awesome.
Sure, David. Yeah, it was really a tremendous experience, and it's hard to be kind of at the vortex of that many people's attention and focus and love without feeling it, without feeling its effect. It was an emotional event, and like you said, great things can come from great sacrifice and great commitment. And you talk about 12-hour bus rides. We had people traveling across the country 20 hours, from as far as Chihuahua, Mexico, and Villahermosa, the state of Tabasco, which is, a 20-hour bus ride one way is no easy task. But I was commenting to actually my wife last night when I got home Sunday night, and I said, those are actually the people that are going to have the most success. They will rise to the top of this, and they have to. Because the willingness to really focus on one's own goal and to commit oneself to the extent to which you're willing to travel 40 hours round trip on a bus in the space of 2 or 3 days just to attend our event, for me that really qualifies them for great success. And so I'm betting it all on them. And David, you and I were talking earlier today, and some of the individual stories that really inspire me are stories, like a very young grandmother out of Saltillo, which is a small town about an hour from a northern city of Monterrey in Mexico, named Rosie Alanis. And, she's really taken on this role of leader up there, where she's pulled in all of these small, disparate groups of people who haven't had a lot of leadership or guidance or training. And she's like a mother hen. She's kind of huddled them all in under her, and she makes sure that they attend her weekly training. When they need rides to anywhere, she drives hours to take people where they need to be, all to help them with their actives business. She did that with me when I was out there, as a matter of fact, She drove a couple hours to pick me up at the airport, drove me to Saltillo, drove me back at midnight to Monterrey for me to catch a flight out to another city the next day. And every time I've gone down there and done that, she's been there. And I always wonder, what is motivating her? What is, why does she do that, what she does? And she is full of, with just so much love and commitment, and she's really found her purpose. She's a very, very big believer in the power of our products. She's seen thousands of cases of people who are better. They have a better lifestyle because of our products. And she is seen in her own pocketbook improvement in her financial health and the health of other people. And so, she's really committed to creating sort of time freedom for people so that they can focus on their purpose. And for me, she's a real inspiration. And it was fun to be able to highlight her during this event and to talk about her and to share her story and then to hear from her from stage. So, again, when I take my own litmus test, David, and say, are we doing the right thing? Are we in the right place? I tell you what, it's real people's lives that for me are the barometer for that test, for that litmus test. And that's, people like Rosie or Rosalinda is why I know that what we're doing is the right thing. And this is a lot of fun. This is a business, a for-profit business. But my goodness, if you're going to do a business, you might as well be doing some good in the world. And I think that we are doing great things.
Yeah, you're right. It's amazing, and it's inspiring to all of the rest of us to see those stories. And I know that many of people that are on the calls today are feeling the same desires. They have things that they want to accomplish in their lives. It's not often that you can say, well, I want to be a leader. I want to have this success. And then you think, okay, that's great. I'd love to change my situation. But then now what? Now, how do I do that? What vehicle do I use to do that? I've got people all around me, from family members and friends, who don't view me as a leader, who may not view me as very successful, or kind of pigeonhole me in a particular place. And this is the opportunity for people, whether their own friends and family recognize them or not. We've got people that are on stage and coming that truly are leaders and have carved out a niche for themselves and have influence upon others that's really incredible. And it's so inspiring for me. And I know that we all probably feel the same way, that whenever we wonder, oh, can we do this? Can we do that? It's great to step back and say, wait a minute, if Rosie can do this, if these people can get on a bus for 20 hours and come to an event, what can't we do? We have more resources. We have more things available to us, more opportunities. Why don't I do the same type of thing so that I can change my life and change my family's life? There's really very little excuse. And we've done our best, and we'll get better and better. But as we've introduced products with real science, backed by real world-renowned scientists, we've been able to now provide a great app that's going to help people build their business and training tools. And it's not everything, but I guess I'm reminded of what General Schwarzkopf once said. He said that just an average plan that's well executed and is followed and really, put a lot of effort into, is better than waiting around until you've got the perfect plan. Because there is no such thing as a perfect plan. But I can tell you what, right now here with Actives, as far as I'm concerned, we've got the vehicle. And if people don't recognize it, it's because they got their eyes closed, or they've lost some other senses. I'm not sure. But I really do feel strongly that in my personal business experience, I've never had such wonderful products. I've never had such a great team. I've never had the endorsement of such tremendous scientists and business people, a sitting admiral, Vice Admiral Winter, who presented at our conference. I've never had the opportunity that we have now. I'm telling you what, I'm not going to blow it, and we're not going to blow it, because these things, these type of things all coming together at one time provides just a tremendous opportunity for all of us, those of us that are on camera and those of us that are listening right now. So, Ryan, what about, in conclusion, what about some challenges, some extra information, some takeaways? What do you think people ought to be running towards right now?
Yeah, excellent, David. I think my final thoughts for this call, for this Zoom, it would really be, I want to explain to everybody that we have just launched an incentive trip. And many of you are aware of it. And we don't often talk about why we do incentive trips. And sometimes we say, well, it's to give people a taste of what's waiting for them down the road as they start reaching their goals. that's true. It's also because, and I learned this years ago, that to help people change their belief system, shift their paradigms about what they think is possible for them and for other people, you've got to take them out of their element, take them out of their environment. So part of why we have such an amazing incentive trip planned for them is because we do want to take people out of their environment and show them what's possible if they continue to reach their goals, if they continue to stay focused on reaching their whys, on realizing their purpose. So that said, we did launch an incredibly exciting incentive trip that's going to be taking place January of this next year at an all-inclusive resort in Punta Cana of the Dominican Republic. I've never been there. I hear it's an amazing place. If you've never experienced an all-inclusive resort, it's something you've got to experience. And it's not to be gluttonous, but like I said, it is to give people a small taste of what awaits them if they continue to go through the ranks of our RevShare program or our comp plan and to start reaching those goals. So we've issued a challenge, and we've simply said that, look, you'll go with us. You will qualify. Each month, we're going to issue a promotion. We're going to launch a promotion every month or a raffle. And to participate in this raffle, where you'll either be given, you can win $500 or a new iPhone. I think that's what we're doing this month is an iPhone. You just simply have to enroll 2 new business partners with any business pack or 3 new product customers with at least 100 PV of product, and you'll qualify for your first month, right? And of the 6 months that are ahead of us, if you do that this month in June, you can check off that first month, and you really only need to qualify 4 out of the 6 months, and we'll take you with us to the all-inclusive resort in Punta Cana, how do you say that in English? Dominican Republic. I'm used to saying it in Spanish. And so that, I would just issue that challenge to everybody who's watching the Zoom right now. This is a great way for you to rub shoulders with us, rub shoulders with the leaders in the company. And, it really is a worthy cause. And it reminds me of a great statement from Helen Keller, where she said that true happiness is not attained through self-gratification, but rather through fidelity to a worthy purpose. And this is a worthy purpose. I just want to remind myself of that every day, especially when I see the 27 product testimonials that were sent to me just this last week. So, as a reward for pursuing this worthy purpose, we want to take you all with us down to Punta Cana. So that's my personal call to action, David. I hope that everyone in our company can join us. I mean, what an incredible event that would be. So those are my final thoughts. I can't wait to see you all soon, and we'll see you at the top. David, you have the last word.
Well, you led right into what I'd like to talk about, and that is having this paradigm shift. A lot of times we listen to people and we're influenced by people who really don't know what the heck they're talking about. We mentioned our Japanese friends. The Japanese, they study English for 12 years, from junior high through high school and even in elementary school. And yet many of them struggle with the pronunciation of certain English words. It's not that their tongues won't make R's or they won't make L's, but guess what? Their teachers were all Japanese who had a difficult time saying R's and L's. So they just practiced it the same way, and it's really no wonder that when we practice or follow somebody who's never had success themselves, that we may not have that much success either. And I'm reminded that all of the criticisms that people point of companies like ours, well, don't you know those products, if those products were any good, they'd be in GNC. Don't you know the FDA is always after those products, and if they were any good, they'd be drugs or things like that. Well, instead of listening to people like that, why don't you listen to Joe Maroon? Why don't you listen to Dr. Brett Earl? Why don't you listen to Dr. Rish Patel? These guys are famous, world-renowned scientists and doctors in their own field. So if it were me, I would listen to them and not some guy who read something on the internet. Secondly, don't you know that nobody makes any money in these companies? That it's all a scam, that it's just a pyramid scheme, that only these people, that people. Yeah, well, it's just stupid. Come to these events, look at the videos, talk to other people, and you'll see, okay, Rosie from Satio, I don't think she's got a pyramid scheme going on. I know she doesn't. She is simply working hard, introducing this to other people, and making some money. I know that Paige Gimbel in Northern California, she is working this part-time, and she's building a group and making money. And other people, I could go on and on. I guess ultimately it kind of reminds me of what the people have the opportunity to do tonight. Some of you might know that Jupiter is going to be at its closest position relative to the Earth in years. In fact, you can walk out tonight, just after when it gets dark, and you can look and see Jupiter and up to 4 of its moons with your naked eye. And you're going to be amazed. I'm going to do it, assuming, hopefully we don't have a cloudy night, but I want to go out and see it. And you might go to people and say, man, this is amazing. Come outside, you can see Jupiter with your naked eye. And they're going to say, you idiot. Everybody knows Jupiter's way too far away. You can't see it with your naked eye. You're going to, really, I saw it. And they're going to say, no. And so they're going to miss the opportunity to see Jupiter just because they've made up their mind or they heard something. They think that they're amateur astronomers and they can't see it. And just because that they have made up their mind, they're not going to do it. So if you are a great friend, you're going to say, you know what? Don't be an idiot. You're going to grab their arm. You're going to drag them outside and you're going to say, look, that's Jupiter. Now look, that's their 4 moons. That's 4 of its 79 moons. And they're going to say, wow, I had no idea you could see Jupiter. I had no idea you could see its full moon. And then you can say, well, you know what? Well, you can do even more. Let's grab a pair of binoculars. And then you'll see the great red spot. And you'll be able to see it. And they're going to say, I had no idea. This is so cool. And I think that it's the same thing holds true of your own personal experience, that you've had a great health benefit, that you're making some money, that you're one of these 2,200 that received a check last week. You say, listen, look at this. Don't be an idiot. I'm telling you, this works. And then, just like getting a pair of binoculars and looking and being able to see it more closely and in more detail, at that point, they will start looking at the science and say, whoa, Joe Maroon, he's a doctor for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's part of your team? Wow, Admiral Matt Winter, the Navy vetted this company before they let him join? That's amazing. The comp plan, wow, I can make this kind of money just by introducing it to friends who just become customers? I had no idea. And then you'll smile softly and say, yeah, I knew you didn't. That's why I grabbed your arm and made you look at this. And I just think that if we'll have that same type of attitude and remember that we can have this effect upon people, that they will listen if we force it under their eyes sometimes, and that they will be just as excited when they do, that as you were the first time around. And if they aren't, well, frankly, then they're probably just doomed to live the life that they're living, and you can't do anything about it. But at least they won't blame you 5 years from now when they say, I thought you were a friend. Why didn't you introduce us to me? And you said, you know that, remember that night I tried to get you to see Jupiter? You didn't go outside then either. You wanted to watch reruns of the Brady Bunch. I don't know, whatever it was. So anyways, that's my thought for tonight. There's so many great things happening. I can't believe how many good people we have pulling in the same direction. And yeah, we're going to see you at the top, and there's going to be a lot of people there. Thanks, everybody. Can't wait to see you all again soon.
Have a great night, everybody. Thank you, John. Thank you, David.